What's up, boys and girls? Craig Lopez back once again with another tutorialism. Now, everything you're hearing right now is coming out of one single instance of one VST. That VST is called Falcon 2 by UVI, and today I'm going to give you 5 reasons why Falcon 2 is the only VST you need to make an entire track. Now, for some reason, I've just been doing a whole load of reminiscing about when I first started making music back in the 90s, and I did a bit of searching about on Google, and I actually found the keyboard that I used to use, and it was this bad boy here, the Casio CTK 750. Man, I had this when I was about 13 through to about 17, and this was literally the only thing I had to make music on. As you can see, I had 128 general MIDI tones, so just your bog standard 128 general MIDI sounds. These orange buttons right here, those were my drum pads. Yeah, but I was happy with it, man. That, and I had Cubasis, which, as you can see, is a MIDI music recording software, so I couldn't actually record any audio or anything like that. So literally all I had for about the first 3 or 4 years of making music was those 128 sounds in this Casio thing. And it got me to thinking, like, sometimes restrictions breed creativity. So I thought, why not try and make a track just using one plugin? And the plugin that I decided to use was Falcon 2 by UVI, so a little bit better than my little Casio keyboard there. So what exactly is Falcon 2? Well, if you look at UVI's marketing material, they're very much selling it as a sound designer's dream, and it is that. But if you look at the YouTube reviews, you see that people are comparing it to Omnisphere, which I guess is a fair comparison, but people are also comparing it to like Contacts, which I guess is also a kind of fair comparison, but I would also compare it to like Reason and Reactor, and just all of those things just bundled into one. So yeah, I know it's a bit confusing, a bit overwhelming. Let's just have a quick overview of what's included in it. So we have all these different kinds of synthesis here: additive, analog stack, which is just a stack of analog synthesizers. We have drum synthesizers, FM, noise, organ, pluck, wavetable. In the sampler section, these are our different sampler algorithms. So we've got granular, multi-granular, Urcam scrub, slice, stretch. As far as effects go, we have hundreds and hundreds, and these are really, really high quality effects, like the kind of effects you would have or buy as standalone third-party effects in your DAW. We also have multi-effects, which are kind of effects racks, which are just presets of multiple effects. Really, really awesome. We have these MIDI scripts. So the MIDI scripts include things like arpeggiators or chord generators, or got step sequencers, that kind of thing. And then we have all our modulation sources. So we have regular ADSR, LFOs, but then we've got parametric LFOs, multi-envelopes, step envelopes, everything you would need to make any sound you can think of. Now, granted, that is a lot of things, and I have owned Falcon 2 for quite a while, and I've never really dived into it because I've always just found it a bit kind of overwhelming and a bit intimidating. But that was until today, when I set myself this little challenge of only using one plugin to make an entire track. And I have to say, the first thing that kind of jumped out at me is how usable and how just freaking awesome the actual presets are. And that's going to be my number one reason as to why UVI is the only plugin you need to make an entire track. That is the presets. Right, so before we get any further, I do just want to specify that this is not a sponsored video, and I'm not affiliated with UVI in any way, shape or form. Everything you see on screen is stuff that I bought with my own money. This is my own honest opinion. And if you do like watching this kind of content, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting that notification button. All those things do really help the channel out and will motivate me into making more of this kind of stuff if this is the kind of thing that you're interested in. If not, give me a thumbs down. Right, so back to the presets in this thing. Now, Falcon 2 itself comes with about 1,000 presets. You can also buy add-ons for Falcon 2, and you can also buy UVI sound packs, which do work in their free software, but also work in Falcon, and they're similar to the kind of contact packs that you buy for Contact. And those are the things that I'm going to be going through today when I'm talking about the presets, just so you can get a clue as to how good these things sound out of the box. Right, so let's have a look at what I've actually got going on here. So these are the list of instruments, I guess, that I've got going on within Falcon. So let's solo the drums. Like I say, everything that I've used here is pretty much the preset as it was out of the box. Might have tweaked a few things, but you get the idea of how good these things sound. So if I just solo the drums, and I've got this NWA Boys in the Hood preset from the Beatbox Anthology 2 pack. I think the only thing I did here is add a bit of reverb to the snare. For the bass, I'm using this FMX2 XL. I can't actually see the name of the preset anyway here, but it is a preset, trust me. For my first load of chords, I have this Petite Music preset, which is part of the Falcon 1.1 factory sound bank. This actual sound is made up of 4 layers. We have this pop arpeggiator kind of sound, strings, this logo wavetable, I guess, and then this FM sound. I've also got that layered with this toy piano sound and this dirty toy piano preset, which is also part of the factory sounds. So together they sound like this. Now the vocal is actually a sample that I've imported, but we get onto that in a second. And then last I have this guitar sound, which is part of, let's see if I can find it now, this World Traditions pack here. So there's no actual user interface on that, but we'll get into that in a second as well. So if I bring in all the sounds together, this is what they sound like. So reason 2 why Falcon 2 is the only plugin that you need is the sampler. So let me find the original sample that I used in this track. Let's see if I can bring it up. Right, here it is. Let me just solo it so you can hear what it sounded like before I put it into Falcon.
Breaking all the walls that you built, I'm driving you crazy, that's my gift. There's no way out, you should admit.
So let's have a listen to that same vocal as put through UVI's sampler with the Earcam stretch algorithm.
Breaking all the walls that you built, I'm driving you crazy, that's my gift.
And I've obviously pitched it down by 5 semitones as well. Now I'm going to slow this track right down so you can really hear how good that algorithm is. Let's go down to, I don't know, let's say 80 BPM.
Breaking all the walls that you built.
See how much further we can push that down. Can I go down to 50?
Breaking all the walls that you built.
Like, you can hear how smooth that time stretching is. It's really good. I would say that this Aircam time stretch is probably better than the time stretch that's in Cubase. I don't know, but it's really cool. Right, let's also have a look at the guitar. So with the guitar, I have it set to slice mode, where you can see it's just sliced up the guitar by the transient. But because I have it in this sync position, if you look down here, I'm only pressing one key, and as I press the key, it kind of plays a different part of the sliced up sample depending on where it is in the track. Let's have a listen to that. You see, it's not playing the sample from the start, it's playing the sample as to where it would be in the track. If I put the beat back in, you can see what I mean. See, and that's just 2 of the sample modes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 sample modes in there altogether. So as you can see, I'm just scratching the surface. But as a sampler, so forget about the presets and all the synthesizers. Just as a sampler, this thing is top of the pile in my opinion. Okay, so reason number 3 why this is the only plugin that you need to make a track is the effects. Now, the effects that come inbuilt with Falcon 2, so no add-ons, these come with the synth itself. You can use them to mix an entire track, you can use them to sound design an entire track, everything you want. So let's have a quick look at some of the effects, and then I'll show you how I used the preset effects. Okay, so let's solo this guitar. Take the drums out. So I go to effects, and let's have a look at some of the effects. So we have reverbs, got this amazing spark verb. Let's just get a preset. Nice. We've got delays, obviously. Let's put the delay first. Actually, let's get this one here. Nope, that's not the one I was looking for. Dual delay. Yeah. Okay, getting a bit out of hand there. We have EQs, so like a proper digital EQ. You know what EQ does. Let's look at some of these filters. So there's one, this Salon key. I really like this Salon key filter. Let's have a listen to that. So cool. Anyway, so many effects, but the way I was using them, if I go back to my drums, let's just solo the drums. Okay, so we have a whole mixer channel here. These are the effects that I have on the drums: exciter, 3-band compressor, and a 3-band limiter. Let me just get rid of them. And what I actually did was I went to this multi-effects tab and didn't actually go to drums. I went to this master folder, and where it says master dance, just drag that onto the channel, and you can hear what that's doing. Let's turn all the effects off. So cool, so quick, so simple. Let's try and do something with this guitar. Let's bring the guitar in. Let's see what guitar effects we have. Let's try acoustic guitar flange delay. Let's drag it on. There we go. Let's dial that flange back a bit. Nice, so cool. So reason 4 why Falcon 2 is the only VST you need to make an entire track is how efficient it is. So when I say efficient, I mean efficient in 2 ways. There's a really efficient workflow, which I'll show you in a second, and it's also really efficient on the CPU. So let's play what we have and let's check out the CPU meter in Cubase. See, I've got so much going on there and it's only about a quarter of my CPU. I mean, how they've done that, how they've written that code is just, it blows my mind how they've made it so efficient. So yeah, the other thing I mean by efficiency is things like if you want to group tracks. So for example, these 2 things here, this dirty piano and this petite music, I have them layered, stacked, grouped, however you want to put it, and I'll show you how easy it is to do that with Falcon. So both those codes are just coming out of this single MIDI track, and you see I've got MIDI track set to channel 3. So if I open up Falcon and go back to main, we can see that this instrument, this petite music, is on channel 3, and because I've got this one on channel 3, that just basically means that one MIDI track is able to play both of those instruments, but I've also got both instruments grouped to the same output 4 here in Cubase. So if I solo both of these, we can see, let's just loop that round in the right place. We can see one MIDI track, one output, 2 instruments grouped together. So yeah, that's just one tiny way that the workflow is but is really efficient when you do it all within this one VST. Okay, so reason 5 why this is the only plugin that you need is just basically the possibilities that this thing opens up. So the way I've used it, the way I've shown you that I've used it, is just all about instant gratification. Double click on a preset sounds awesome. Double click on an effect sounds awesome. Put them together, play the keyboard, make a track. Took what, half an hour, if that. Everything's so quick, so easy. But the fact that you can just dive into this thing and go so deep on any of the sounds, any of the sound design, any of the programming. I mean, we can get one of these presets and just open it right up, play back with the scripts, add our own scripts, take things away, add things, layer the samples. On this sampler track that I've got, this vocal, I could kind of add a user interface. I could add modulation sources, sliders. I think I could even add graphics. Like I said, the possibilities are endless. You're only limited by your imagination when it comes to this VST. And yeah, that's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasons why Falcon 2 is the only VST that you need to make an entire track. If you've made it this far through the video, we're like, what, 20 minutes in or something so far, and you haven't liked or subscribed, why? Let me know why, at least in the comments. Right, so anyway, that's it for now. This has been Falcon 2. I've been Craig Lopez. This has been Tutorialism. Peace.